Are you ready for the Meta Weekly Top 16 every single week? Let's get to it. Let's do it. The meta is mostly dominated by Ryzeal or Maliss, so we're looking for anything and everything that is not those two decks to give us hope that something else is playable. Feet Sniff Plu is giving us that hope right now with Centurion. Does he stand a chance? Well, Centurion plays continuous spells, and Detonator likes to pop them away. Now, those continuous cards do have some built-in protection from getting popped, so maybe that's where this deck's going to be popping off quite well. But even with the Centurion cards in the back row, if they try to summon, they get popped by the Detonator. What do we do with that? Well, let's find out. Begin.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Watch as long as you can. That greatly supports the events. As we start this off with the Ryzeal sending the Duo Drive with a Veiler negate. We have not committed to our normal summon yet, mate, as we use the Call of the Grave to finger the Veiler. Imperm further negate the Ryzeal, but we can now activate our triple tactics talent to go into a draw 2 play because we are desperate. Detonate, equip from the grave, mate, and what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disruptions. Call to the grave, finger the Max C, which was not even one of the 8 disruptions. With 8 disruptions, what do we do? Pop, 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 negate, pop, 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 pop. Okay, Primera, activate, grabbing herself the stand-up Centurion. Let's further link this up into what the... Blue Eyes. We're locked in a dragon only. Detonator's gonna wipe away the Spirit with Eyes of Blue on the activation of the Druid Swarm, which could just get negated by the Ryzeal Cross, right? Cross, negate on the summon. Yep, negated. We're now down to 6 disruptions left. I don't even activate my stand-up Centurion because it gets popped by the Detonator. Now, the Primera states, while this card is a continuous trap, monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects, and the stand-up Centurion says cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while you control a Centurion monster card. So unfortunately, we could not turn this on to be able to protect ourselves from the Detonator, and even then, it would just get popped on activation. We get to go first now. Emblema Oath is going to be setting up into the back row our Primera, activate the Wake Up Centurion, summon a token while we control a monster in the back row. Druid Swarm banishing from the grave is a disruption. Druid Swarm synchroning with the Atri is going to be going into a disruption, which could then trigger the Druid Swarm to send a monster from the field to the graveyard. A bit of that is quite inflated. You could consider that just to be one disruption, being the monster that we summon into, which will be a Chaos Angel or a Baron de Floor. We'll just count the ceiling being 3. We have the Heavenly Sphere to return a face-up card back to the hand. We have the Blazeheart Dragon, negate anything. So about 5 disruptions. Metaltronus. Targeting the Heavenly Spheres to summon a Starleech Photon Blast. You're now negated. Negate, negate, both are negated, so we lose that form of disruption. We have the 7 Tachyon grabbing an Ryzeal. Ryzeal is going to be dumping the Aggregator. We're going to just negate the summon. And then we're going to chain Druid Swarm to banish the Aggregator before it even activates. That is wild. Holy moly. This is not possible to do unless you're responding to the summon. Because otherwise, if you didn't have Blazar, you can't Druid Swarm, banish an Aggregator to stop it from activating. Oh my Jesus. So it's within the summon negation window, you are making it so you can activate something else outside of a card that can only be activated within the summon negation window. Stand-up Centurion is going to be activating the Synchro. Something about that Druid Swarm play feels so immensely illegal. That is insane. Negate the summon, chain to the summon negate, where otherwise you can't activate, and the Aggregator would, with priority, even activate before you could even activate the Druid Swarm. I'm sorry for repeating myself. That was just crazy. Baron de Floor, as I said, negate the Ryzeal. And with that, we're out of disruption. And we have not used up our normal summon yet as we normal summon the Ryzeal. The Heavenly Sphere, while it is negated, it has another effect. It will summon a dragon from the deck. And that dragon from the deck will be... what? It's going to be something good, right? It's not going to be the Kokai Miru, which stops them from summoning a light or dark monster, right? I believe that's what the effect is. Magnum Hunt, that's it. We're going to be searching for a dragon during the end phase as he goes into a duo drive. Duo drive, he's going to attach from engrave, detach, search our deck for a node and a plugin. What happened? We Blazard? We Baron defloored? It was no good? Huh? Node Ryzeal, send the duo drive, reborn the X Ryzeal from engrave, plug in away, reborn back in the field our Ice Ryzeal as... No, we're doing it. The Utopia double. Double or nothing. Activate, search in our deck for the double or nothing as we further link this up into a Utopia. Utopia at 5,000 attack. Dugaris. No! You cannot do that. You are DQ'd. Get out of my tournament and don't come back. That was 20,000 attack he just surrendered to. We are going second. We do have an Ash Blossom, which can negate the Magnum Hunt, and beyond that, it has nothing left to negate. It can negate the Chessie. If Chessie chooses to activate on its summon here, which doesn't activate on summon, but within the open game state, we could choose to banish draw 2. We are going to be able to negate, banish, imperm, negate a monster, and call with the Grave Finger, plus Druiswarm, banish from the grave, and the Impulse. We have about 8 disruptions. Memento Horse is going to attempt to summon. We're going to Forbidden Droplet to negate. Not today, mate. Negate the Cryptor and the Apollo. Now, Cryptor cheats. Cryptor is negated, so you would think the entire card is negated. The effect of this is that while this card points to a monster, this effect and its activation cannot be negated. You would think it works kind of like the Botcha, right? The effect of protecting yourself from not being negated would be negated. There is no other effect like this in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though we're negated, this effect is not negated. This effect is God. It goes beyond even a skill drain already being face up. It does not care. It is activatable, and it will not be negated. Let's summon the horse. Look, he's negated. Look, he's negated. He's negated. See, he's negated? He's negated, but he's not. What the heck? Konami? Bone Party, pop summon an Anguish. Anguish is going to be activating, Chainlink blocking with the Sleepy. We're holding on to that Imperm, maybe for the horse. Imperm, negate the horse, which will dump up to 3 cards in the deck to the graveyard. It could be 2 or 3. Activate the chain, the Impermanence. We don't have a Chain Fusion. We don't have a Bone Party that was not already activated to chain to that. Thus, we are negated. Negate, as we further link this up, mate, into a Little Knight. Wow. An early negate on Memento actually working. We're going to banish away the Anguish with the Magnum Hunt, searching for a Druiswarm in the end phase. We have Droplets, Ash, Called By, Little Knight, Quadra Disruption. MTP is going to attempt to search, but not banish. We're going to Ash, negate. Now, we're going to have to double up the Droplet with the Called By, which is going to be very difficult to do. So we have to be in a moment where it's good to use Called By and also good to use Droplet. Well, we lose the Called By, we use the Droplet, we reduce in the damage step, say goodbye to the Magnum Hunt, now we just have Little Knight. Well, just having that is enough. Negating the MTP was great. Mace off the top of the deck is going to get negated by the Ash, which is trying to pop itself to search for a Memento Fusion. You would then fuse to the grave, pop off from there, and because we were not able to pop, which would have also triggered the Acheron to reborn itself back in the field, we're not playing Anaconda. Anaconda could have been potentially making some plays, at least in the previous turn, that is. Well, actually, you have to at least have destroyed a card, which we did with Bone Party, so it would have worked on the previous turn. Say goodbye to the Little Knight, making sure to not activate so it does not trigger or chain its effect to banish both cards off the field. And we went first this duel. We got stopped by an Imperm on the horse. Imperm on horse from 3 turns ago, is what decided this duel. Link Decoder, Reborn, as we're now going to full Wombo combo with Maliss. All USA, banish from the deck. Mirror, banish the ransom. Grab the white rabbit. With the Apollo being banned, it's not going to be safe to ever banish the Maliss and Mirror on the first turn. They will get blown out by Ash. And that would then be when you save your Ash. Let's further go into the Cryptor. And then if they don't do that, they will then have to potentially be afraid to even banish their binder. Because if they don't chain link block the binder coming back from the banish pile, you could Ash that. And then the binder is stuck banished and then doesn't reset a trap. So they will probably pass on Maliss and Mirror. They'll probably pass on binder giving them a free draw. There's so many effects that will no longer be safe to just do because they're not gonna have the protection of Apollo, which would be such a great way to reduce the power ceiling of this freaking deck. Let's set, and unfortunately we're not gonna get a ban list announcement until after Worlds. And Worlds is a 3-deck format, meaning every single team is gonna be Maliss, Ryzeal, and then a third deck. Whatever. What's the third deck? What do y'all think the third deck? Tempai, randomly, maybe Blue Eyes, Memento. Begin. Normal summon our Snake Eye Ash, add a Poplar from the deck here. Poplar, triggering summon itself to now search our deck for the original Sinful. Can Ryzeal play through triple monster negate, double banish with Little Knight, and a pop with a Promethean Princess on special summon, plus a Droll and Lockbird? That is 7 disruptions. We can, right? I would think so. There's no... Now, there's actually 8. Because there's Garunix in the graveyard, which will trigger off a fire being destroyed to then pop in Kieran from the deck, which will then pop another card in the field, so it's 8. We have the X Ryzeal, sending the Aggregator. We're chain link blocking the Aggregator, ensuring that it negates the 3 negates on the Apollo. So we go from 8 disruption down to 5, as we negate the X Ryzeal effect to search the deck for a monster. 5 disrupt left. Summon the sword. Sword searching for the ice. We have not committed to a normal summon yet. Draw and Lockbird. No more adding for you. Let's Flame Burst. Summon the Masquerena from the back row. Get ready for the Little Knight play. Masquerena link off with the Apollo into the Little Knight on summon, which will banish away. Say goodbye to the X Ryzeal. We're going to normal the ice as the Little Knight chain banishes the ice off the field as we summon from the deck. And from the deck, with 3 more disruptions left, we're going to summon a Star Ryzeal. Promethean Princess on the Summon of the Star Ryzeal. Pop away the star. Maybe I shouldn't be counting the lingering effect, right? With the lingering effect, this is Droll and Lockbird plus the Garunix. So we just have Garunix left. Garunix is triggering, plus the Flamebirds, Reborn 2 level 1 fires. This is the final disruption. This is it. We're going to pop a Kieran from the deck. Kieran's going to Reborn and non-target wipe away a card in the field, taking out the sword. It's our turn. Our own turn. We're going to Nibiru. Nibiru tribute off the field on our own turn. What the hell is that? Poplar equipping the Alkinix in the back row. Special summon the Node. We are under the effect of Droll, by the way. We cannot add from the deck. As we further go into a Ryzeal Detonator. Whew. Maybach played through 8 disruptions. That was beautiful. That was well done. And we didn't have any non-engine board breakers, right? Our hand was, as you can see on screen, no droplet, not even a Call by the Grave, and we somehow played through 8 disruptions plus a Droll and Lockbird. That's crazy. I mean, I guess we can count the Nibiru. Nibiru is a board breaker. There you go. Nibiru, the board breaker, did help out, I guess. Detonator's going to chain pop away the Little Knight. Not today. Now, let's read how this works. The Plasma Hole is popping the Little Knight, and the Plasma Hole has the additional effect of attaching a card from the graveyard, but does it have to pop to attach? Do we lose a disruption if the card we're popping is no longer there? It's a very important ruling. You are going to destroy them, then you can attach. Because there's nothing to destroy, we don't get to attach. We lose. This is supposed to be double disruption. It's now nothing. Pop the Little Knight. No pop, no attach. The double disruption's gone. The aggregator's going to further negate the Fire King Island. 9,600. What the? That's game. Garunix in the battle in the damage step. Wow. It becomes bigger than 3,000. Pop from the deck, boost, 3,900. Alt in the damage step. You can't chain the detonator. Damage step, damage step, damage step. He's exceeding with the detonator. Into what? What is he turning it into? Into a Zeus? What? Promethean Princess. Chaining the Fire King Sanctuary. He's activating everything he can. Now, Promethean, wipe the field. Does Promethean summon? It's a very important ruling. Judge, help me. What's going to happen here? Let's see if we can figure it out before it happens. Promethean Princess. It states that target of fire you control, one monster the opponent controls, destroy them. If you do, special summon this card. So only if you destroy them do you get to summon. There's no them. There's only one Zeus. So does it summon? Them is different than how Little Knight is worded. Little Knight has to banish both. So because there's at least still something to pop, it will summon. We're fine. Wipe the Zeus. Battle phase Promethean Princess. And no, the Fire King Island. We're not fine. This is not good. What the? Damn. No way. Our Fire King Island killed us. But he top took the Fool loss, so it's okay. Holy moly. Arvata, swing in, take out the Fool loss. Arvata can negate any monster effect by popping the Ponix, which would trigger the Garunix to Reborn. Ash off the top of the deck, 1,800 defense. What the heck is going on? Well, we could just normal summon something and take it out, right? Well, we can't. It's too large. Ash's D is at 18 freaking hundred. Too big. Off the top of the deck, Pot of D. Ooh, that is devastating for Alpha. I would be very much afraid of this as we're now going to be drawing 2 cards. We still whiff it. If this were a level 4, we could have normal summoned the Fool loss at least to try to do something. Normal summon the Drone Lockbird into a Link Karibo as you further turn these 2 bodies into a Dark. Dark is going to attempt, it could have stolen a monster from the graveyard if there was something to steal, but with that 1850 attack big enough to take out the Ash, lethal damage. This is why I play Zeus in my Ryzeal deck. It rarely ever happens, but when it does happen, it is incredible. What actually turned on the Zeus? I don't remember an Xyz monster battling. Main phase. Okay, battle phase. The token attacked over the ice. Your Ponix attacked into the detonator. That was a mistake. Ponix triggered Zeus. You needed Ponix to attack into a non-Xyz. This is what happened. Oh my Jesus. And what's crazy about the Plasma Hole is normally an effect like that, I think Konami forgot, it's hard once per turn on only being able to use one part of the effect and then not being able to use the other, right? It usually says the turn this card is sent to the graveyard, you can't activate the effect to banish it, then perform an Xyz, but you're able to pop and then still Xyz within the same turn with the Plasma Hole. It's a common error from Konami where they, you know, accidentally leave out some downsides to cards on the newest ones released. Duo Drive, let's detach. Ash is going to negate. We now have the Triple Tactics Talent Mate to look at the hand, or we could draw 2. What do we do? Let's activate the TTT for that draw 2 play instead. Off the top of the deck, we got a Pot of freaking D. This could ruin your deck. Banishing your cards face down. We lost our 1 of Star Ryzeal. It's gone from the entire duel. That's it. Fire King Sanctuary, gonna play the Fire King Island as we Ash negate the island, Ash negate Volcanics, Ash negate the island. Those are 2 good uses of your Ash against Fire King. Set pass, we have the Impulse, Impermanence. Let's see what is good from there. Duo Drive is going to be attempting to search. The Imperm is going to negate. We could Imperm negate the Imperm if there were a monster on the opposing side of the field, which there of course isn't. And now that there is a trap in graveyard, or there already was, the Impulse will be able to negate and destroy, getting rid of the Ice Ryzeal. Can still follow up with the Ryzeal. We also have the Node. Node is going to send Lancia. So it's going to be all about the Nibiru. Can we set up the cross? Well, Duo Drive already activated. Star Ryzeal is gone. So we can't play around Nibiru besides not summoning 5 times, which we of course did. On that 5th summon, we are now ready to not Zeus up the field. I got Zeus in my mind still, but Nibiru the field. Sword Ryzeal searching for the Ice Ryzeal. There's nothing they could Xyz into that would stop the Nibiru. So we're literally just waiting until the end of the main phase. Let's activate Nibiru, use the detonator to wipe away the island. Island will now be activating to wipe away these Nibiru. But we're still going to have a nice fat token on our field, which we can maybe win the duel with. 5,700 defense, 6,700 attack. Within the battle phase, reborn back in the field, the detonator, which I think this is a mistake. If you well, it's a mistake. It's also not a mistake. If the opponent draws into a called by, they finger your detonator. That sucks. But if they don't have a call by the grave, we now passed up on an extra form of disruption. And it's not just one form of disruption. If we have an aggregator in graveyard, we lost 2 forms of disruption. Because if we waited to summon the detonator on their turn, we would have had the hard once return effect that we already used up, which on someone would attach the aggregator for a pop plus a negate. So instead, we just have imperm and a pop, which of course it's going to be enough. And I guess playing around called by is okay. Or did we really have that mindset though? Skip the battle phase. We doubled the attack with Dugaris. We waited for them to activate the Dugaris before using the Nibiru, but it's still not enough. 1-1, let's hop into game 3. We are going second. We have Fluid Loss. We are ready. We could wait for in response to summoning from the deck. Setting up a Wanted Seeker. As we hollowed Azamina, try to summon from the extra deck. Let's chain the Fluid Loss in response. Draw per summon from the deck or extra deck. Say goodbye to the Wanted Seeker as we go into the Ryzeal Go instead of a Sylvia Pass. Sylvia Negate plus a Drone Lockbird maybe would have been good enough. Instead, we're further committing again into a Masquerena, drawn to an Ash. Let's return back the Ryzeal Go, grab the Hollowed Azamina. Hollowed Azamina, let's even more so further commit into a Sylvia. Lancia, so you cannot banish a card from the graveyard, which would be the original Sinful to search your deck, normal summon the Volcanics and pass. We can negate, we could draw on Lockbird, we could Little Knight double banish, at least Quadra Disruption. Let's see what's good. 7th Tachyon. Searching for the Ice Ryzeal, return back the other 7th to the top of the deck, that is. Draw on Lockbird, no more adding from the deck for you. Aggregator, negate the Sylvia. Well, you did draw me, so I now get to triple Tactics Talent, take control of the Masquerena, and we have nothing, nada, 0 disruptions. If you chain Masquerena to triple Tactics Talent to make a Little Knight, what do you think happens? The opponent takes your Little Knight, and the opponent gets the effect of your Little Knight on summon to then banish away a card in your field. Let's Ryzeal Cross, which maybe you want to trick them into doing, because then they lose the ability to attack directly. Not that they have lethal damage anyway. We got too much. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disruptions. The 8th disruption being an Aggregator Negate. Now we're down to 7 Ash Blossom Negate. With 7 disruptions left, what can Alpha do? Wanted Seeker, return a card back, draw. We have the Kirin, pop the Garunix, which, this is good. But while we can't activate any of our cards in the damage step, like literally nothing could activate in the damage step here, but Cross does not activate. It's going to negate in the damage step. Yep. We can, if we want to negate. We're going to wait till the resolution to negate if we want to. We're going to wait. We can wait on the resolution. Do we negate the Kirin? Yes, we do. Detach, negate. Garunix is activating. Aggregator is going to negate. If you're the non-turn player and you're activating a trigger effect that's optional with the opponent, you're always going to be the higher chain link, and that's how you want to think about how to use your Aggregator. They activate a card that's going to initiate a trigger on a separate chain. That is when you want to detach your aggregator. So on that separate chain with the aggregator will always be higher to negate whatever it is. We're going to summon the March Hare, set the MTP, activate to banish to search our deck, and with that, we're going to be chaining the Ash 2 negate. Negate, return back. We're going to be able to non-target banish. We can Ash negate an interaction with the deck. We don't have access to the Cryptor. I don't see that here. So we have 5 disruption plus a max C. Let's see what's good. Lurie is going to attempt to reborn. We're not going to negate Lurie. I'm just going to draw a card off of it instead. Allow the Lurie to come out instead of using the Apollo to negate. Come back onto the field, mate. Draw into an Impulse. So now we just drew into another disruption. We have Impulse in addition to our other 5. Let's Engraver, reborn back in the field. We're holding the Apollo. I am not going to Apollo. When are we going to do it? Let's fuse with the hand or field into the Fiendsmith Lacrima, which takes a negate off the Apollo. So we go from 6 disruption now to 5 because of the passive effect of Lacrima to reduce the opposing field attack. Let's Requiem, summon from the deck, Fiendsmith Engraver. Oh my Jesus, full maxi challenge. GWC is going to be reborning a monster that's banished or engraved back onto the field. Let's get the Binder out on the field. Binder will, on summon, banish from either player's graveyard. We're going to trigger the Paradise on your special summon. Paradise will now be sending a card from the field to the grave, which the Apollo will definitely negate, I think. We're going to banish from our own grave the Red Ransom and our March Hare. March Hare will add back. The Red Ransom will summon, then banish from the deck the White Rabbit. And the White Rabbit will then set the MTP to non-target banish. Get ready for that. They do not have an Ash Blossom to negate the MTP banish. We sent Rextremde instead of Desiree? What? Why? I want to say something here that's very important. I did not send Desiree because I know they'll negate with Apollo. Do you know what that means? That means that they're not activating Red Ransom, they're not activating March Hare, because these 2 cards are optionally triggering with your Desiree on the higher chain link, so they'd have to pass on both of these effects to even negate the Desiree. So the Desiree was not just a wasted activation. It would literally force them to not Red Ransom or March Hare. And we Firewall Dragon, return 3 cards on the field. Back to the hand here. Bonfire negated by Ash. Negate. Do we not play Desiree? We do. Okay. There's no target to shuffle? Okay, then, well... So what I'm saying still stands true for that specific ruling if there was another Light Fiend, but if there was not another Light Fiend, obviously we could not have sent the Desiree, but do keep that in mind that sometimes when something feels like a bad activation, that they could be chain link blocking their own negate, and they're forced to pass on those activations. I had a yummy duel the other day where I was about to trigger 2 different effects. I had an on-summon effect and I think a field spell trigger, but instead, I had to pass on both of my trigger effects to instead activate the Yummy Synchro to chain directly to the card to return back to my extra deck to summon 2 bodies from Engrave. So you do have to make that difficult decision sometimes and just force them into it. Or are we going to deck them out? 10 cards left in the deck? What is going on? Triple Monster Xyz into a triple Detonator. Detonator on summon. Why is it 25? Well, the Red Ransom has the effect of reversing the attack and defense. So we're going to be using the Detonator to pop away that Red Ransom to regain back our 3,000 attack. Let's summon our Magnum Hut, banishing away the Aggregator as it's a non-target attach from the grave. Let's say goodbye to the White Binder as we also take out the Firewall Dragon. Boss did a really good job considering we were under the effect of Max C. 17 cards in the hand. There's hope that maybe Gorilla will time out. This could be quite a complicated game state to overcome. as we have a newly drawn Allure of Darkness, banished from the grave, our Dormouse attempt to come back, Detonator detached to pop away the Phoenix. Now, we have 2 more disruption left, plus a Droll and Lockbird. Droll is not going to be so good here. They have pretty much their entire deck in their hand, so it's going to be just the double Detonator pop. Let's Cerberus. I was just thinking, Desiree attached on a Detonator, and then you could detach the Desiree to trigger its effect again? So even if the Desiree was not triggerable, just having Desiree in graveyard for a material that Detonator could attach could have been an extra form of disruption. Isn't this indestructible? Let's read Cerberus. Cerberus states that co-linked monsters could not be destroyed by Detonator. Whoops. Tried to destroy, could not destroy. Let's Druid Swarm, send the Detonator to the graveyard, link all 3 into an access code talker. Access the codes, boost, 6,300 attack, banish away the Apollo, take out. He timed out! I knew it was a possibility! Let's go, never surrender! Time out! No way! This duel is for all of you that have ever surrendered to a Max C, saying, oh, it's hopeless, why even bother? Just summon as much as you, right about when you're hovering the surrender button, just say, nah, summon 20 times and see what they could do, and they're probably just gonna time out. Allure of Darkness, chain the Full Loss before they draw into an Ash or called by or cross out. That is what you do. Come to me, Chessie. Chessie banish, come back Chessie, activate to draw 2. It is not banished by cost, it's only by effect. Negate the effect of banish, negate the effect of drawing 2. And now we have to see if Gorilla will properly play around Nibiru. Let's Sark, banish from the deck our Dormouse. Dormouse, come forth. Dormouse is gonna further banish our March Hare. March Hare, come back to our hand here. We're gonna normal summon the White Rabbit. Okay, I was gonna say a really bad play into Nibiru would be linking up the White Rabbit into a Decoder and then banishing the White Rabbit here, and we'd be under 5 summons. Red Ransom, grabbing the Maliss and Mirror, set pass. Now, without MTP being on the field, a Mirror plus Ransom is negate a monster plus access to the MTP to non-target banish. And we also have Max C. Full Loss is going to be no good here. Double Disruption. Let's see what's good. Max C in the draw phase. Is this double disruption play going to be good enough, especially under the protection of Max C, maybe drawn into even more disruption? What's crazy here is because our disruption's in the back row, Aggregator negates nothing. Negating a Red Ransom does nothing but chain link block the X Ryzeal from an Ash. So, of course, we're not going to be able to Ash that. We're going to MTP, grab a Dormouse, non-target banish away the X Ryzeal. Normal summon the ice. Now the purpose of getting rid of the X Ryzeal is to stop the sword from summoning. And now we're going to follow up with the Ice Ryzeal. Maliss and Mirror is going to negate. Negate the ice, trigger the effect of the Red Ransom, come back, but now the sword is special summonable since we have an ice on the field. We're going to be triggering the White Rabbit, which will set a trap from the deck. This is where you would set your MTP if you had not already used it. You have a GWC instead. Special the sword. Of course, we're under the effect of the Max C. We do have Ash as our final form of disruption that we did draw into because of the Max C. Detonator attached the Aggregator. To battle we go. And understand that we are under the restriction of X Ryzeal, meaning you can't just turn this into a Zeus and then wipe up the field. We have 4 disruption on the Ryzeal Detonator, the 4th one being the Aggregator negate. We have a Nibiru to tribute off the field, 5 forms of disruption with a Max C boosted up hand. Gorilla, you gotta win this. Come on. And play around Nibiru. Well, you may be thinking, I can make an Apollo, right? Apollo can't stop Nibiru with Detonator on the field. If you activate the Apollo to negate the Nibiru, the Detonator just chain pops you and you don't negate. Let's add back the March Hare. We're now at 4 forms of disruption here. Normal the Dormouse into the Link Decoder. That's the 4th summon. Turn this up into a Cryptor. Non-target banish away the Detonator. Detonator's going to chain pop the Cryptor. Cryptor is going to return back the Banished Maliss and Mirror to non-target banish away the Detonator. Detonator's going to detach again, say goodbye to the GWC. We're going to activate the GWC, which was set on a previous turn, so it is not forcibly banishing the Cryptor, then come back onto the field. Red Ransom is now on the field. It already activated Search Our Deck. The Aggregator will now be activating on the separate chain link with nothing worthy of negating. Now, if the Red Ransom had not already activated, it would have been the lower chain link to the Aggregator negating to affect the search. On the resolution or at the end of the main phase is when we have to Nibiru. We play cross out with maybe a Nibiru in our deck, right? What are the chances that he's not playing Nibiru? He's not playing Nibiru. No Nibiru in the deck. Cross out designate does not negate you, Walt mate. Maxing the draw phase. 0 defense token. We have Ice Ryzeal on normal. Call by the Grave, finger the ice engraved to negate the ice on field. Negate the ice. We could still X Ryzeal for our follow-up and search for a fire. Let's further link this up into a Moon of the Closed Heaven. Now, when you're playing with Fiendsmith, you have to be careful about the summon lock. Summoning X Ryzeal early puts you into that summon lock where you can't even go into your links. So first you make your Fiendsmith plays. If you want to go into the Fiendsmith plays early while still using the X Ryzeal, you have to normal summon the X Ryzeal or summon the X Ryzeal through an ice. And by summoning it through an ice, you can still search your deck and you're not going to be locked. But right now, we are locked. We're going to March Hare with the ability to banish a monster from our hand or graveyard. That's going to be the Cryptor. Cryptor's going to come back out, and Cryptor's going to have the ability to non-target banish a card on the field. And it's going to be boosted. 5,000 attack. Let's summon the ice, come forth into the Duo Drive. A non-target banish stops the Duo Drive effect to search, but we're waiting for the effect to detach. We didn't banish it. We would have stopped it from searching. It has to detach on resolution by effect. We could be up against the wall due to the time limit again, because I feel like that should have been a banish. And if we didn't, how low is our time? Are we about to time out again? What is going on? Now, we went to battle phase. We couldn't attack into anything else besides the Cryptor due to the field spell, forcing them to attack into the mouse monsters. That is a link if they want to even attack. We're going to summon the Phoenix, which will not draw a card, but will discard on summon to attempt to take away the Ryzeal Cross. We're going to trigger the Fiendsmith Paradise. Ash is going to negate the Paradise from sending a Desiree to send a card from the field to the grave. We're going to Ash negate with our Call by the Grave. Negate. We're going to cross out Designate. Negate the Call by the Grave. We're going to use the Ryzeal Detonator to pop away the Cryptor. Is there a banish card to return back? There is not. We could not use Cryptor to non-target banish. Now, you have to have a good form of memory here, which is more so important for the tournament, which is if I Nibiru'd their field, then they set that card, then they activate that card into cross-out designate, I now know they don't play Nibiru, or maybe they have the Nibiru in their hand. Let's return back the Requiem, send the Phoenix. Let's play over the field spell another one. Maliss and Underground's going to get chain popped by the Detonator. Wipe it away. We still have the Aggregator Detonator play, which is a double form of disruption plus a Drone Lockbird with 9 cards left in our deck. Imperm's going to negate. We still have the Aggregator. It does give us some disruption resilience against the impermanence. Banish away the Dormouse. Dormouse. So I guess this is an idea of when you'd want to be doing this, because we have to think about this. If Dormouse is on the field, what happens? You activate, you chain the Detonator, it doesn't pop it, and then there's nothing to negate with the Aggregator. We know that this is the final moment to trigger the Aggregator to negate the Dormouse, and we're already negated. So we're not going to even pop our own card, but we are triggering the Aggregator to negate the Dormouse. Now, the hard once return effect to Dormouse has not been activated yet, so if you have another way to get the Dormouse back out, it will be activatable. But with the Splash Mage, that's not the way, because the monster we summon is going to be negated. Let's go into the White Binder. White Binder is here, and you don't need me to tell you that Ryzeal has nothing left. We're going to banish 3, Cryptor's going to come back, Ransom's going to come back, White Rabbit's going to come back. Back onto the field. Over 10,000 damage on the field. We have not activated the Cryptor yet, which requires a banished card that is a mouse card to even activate. So let's activate the Mouse and Mirror, get a card banished. Now that we have the March Hare banished, let's return it back to non-target banish. Say goodbye to the Detonator. And always be careful on an open field where you feel like you have all the information to check their grave. they may have the Plasma Hole. And if you do not sequence your attacks correctly in the battle phase against a Plasma Hole, you could be giving them a free Zeus to wipe up the entire field. 1 and 1. Ice. Into a Maxi. Draw per special summon. I don't think so. You're not ruining game number 3. Negate and finger your C. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disruptions. We're going to negate the effect of the Jerusalem. So now we're down to 5 disruptions, plus a Maxi. And we have the Fiendsmith in Paradise. We have 6 disruptions, right? We didn't use the Paradise yet? We did not. Can we play through 6? Detonator detaching the ice to wipe away the Dormouse, activating in response to the March Hare activating, that is. Come back to our hand, March Hare, banish from engrave or our hand. We're going to use the Ryzeal Cross to negate. 4 more disruptions, mates. We're going to use the Crimson Tear to summon out the Requiem here. With the Requiem, we're going to be reborning back on the field the Lacrima that we returned back in the deck to then send the Fiendsmith in Paradise to then send a card from the field to the grave on their special summon. Detonator detaching to get rid of the Magnum Hut. Now, Jerusalem is actually really good against Detonator because Detonator has destruction protection, and the Jerusalem sends to the graveyard, does not destroy. Crimson Tear on summon here, send the Fiendsmith in Paradise. Lingeribo, which does Lingeribo stop the Fiendsmith in Paradise? Let's read this. Lingeribo, when your opponent activates a trap card, you can negate that card's effect if you do banish it. While the Fiendsmith in Paradise says if your opponent special summons, you banish this card, send a Fiendsmith. The answer is it cannot because it says activate a trap card. You're not activating the card, you're activating the effect of the card by banishing it, thus it can't negate. Little Knight is here, on summon, banish a card on the field or engrave. We're gonna go for the Ryzeal Cross. We're gonna Jerusalem, send the Detonator to the graveyard. We're gonna detach the Aggregator to send the Little Knight to the graveyard, or at least attempt to do so. We're gonna chain Little Knight to banish itself, plus the Princess. And now the Aggregator on the separate chain link. What is it even activatable to negate on? Nothing, as we still have the Fiendsmith in Paradise activatable as our final form of disruption. Now the Maxi is fingered, if you're wondering why we haven't seen. Back to you. Looking pretty good for boss, no? We are going to link up this field into a Fiendsmith sequence. Activate the sequence. We're not going to even chain the Little Knight. It does not stop the effect to fusion summon. What? You timed out? You surrendered? Why? They could have reached the external time limit of the tournament, which is 60 minutes. And the TCG, I believe it's 45 minutes, and that's even with them side decking, which takes up some time, but 60 minutes for the round. Is that what happened, Gianna, between Gorilla and Boss? If you could look into that real quick. They were in time. Whoever had the highest life points won. Who had the highest life points? Boss did. So Boss won.
I told him to leave the game.
Yeah. The person who surrendered won the game because they had the higher life points. Underground, banish the Dormouse, Impulse, negate the Dormouse from summoning itself onto the field. Now, a Gold Sark you would not be able to use Impulse against because there'd be nothing in the field for the Impulse to even be activatable. Let's now, and you have to understand that you on the next turn, well, whoever used the Impulse could not use Nibiru for the rest of the duel. So keep that in mind. Light, Earth, and Wind are gone from the game. We're gonna make a Link Decoder. As you impulse me, I impulse you, but I use it from the back row so we're not locked out of our Nibiru play. As we link all 3 into the Cryptor, this is the way. Cryptor by itself is over 8,000 damage. Well, by itself, it has to be boosted by Dormouse, which it is, and then it will be over 8,000 damage by just banishing itself after attacking to then attack again for game. We have the White Binder, take away the Dormouse. We're going to non-target banish a card on the field, say goodbye to the March Hare. March Hare, add back to the hand here. As we have 3,100, and if we already use the non-target banish effect, so it cannot banish itself, you have to have something else. And that something else is the GWC. banish the Cryptor to come back onto the field as 5,600 attack, lethal damage. What was our back row? What was that? It exploded before I could see it. All right, let's hop another one. Let's go. Set the Sark to bluff an MTP set to make your opponent think twice about using impermanence. As now make a Link Decoder. March here, banish the Dormouse here. Dormouse come back, come forth into the Red Ransom. Red Ransom, summon the Link Decoder, and instead of using Nibiru, we're going to use the Bestial. So instead of being forced to Nibiru right before the Apollo, we're going to force them in an even worse spot to then use that Nibiru on. Gold Sark, banish from the deck. Now, we are going to be triggering the effect of the White Rabbits. So if you look here, there is a summon restriction, but does it stop us from summoning an Apollo? The summon restriction is Link monsters only. White Rabbit, send to the back row. We might have to Nibiru here. If we don't Nibiru, we could go into an Apollo USA and then follow up with the Maliss and Underground. Yep, see, gotta do it. Let's Nibiru now by tributing off our Juristorm that will trigger to send the token to the grave. And the token could have been used to summon a Link 3. For some reason, the Maliss links only say include a Maliss monster, not requiring all 3 to be Maliss. Let's summon back onto the field the Red Ransom as we banish the Maliss and Mirror to banish the Red Ransom to then search our deck for a March Hare. Let's draw 2 with the Chessy Cat here, Splash Mage it up. Splash Reborn as we now Magnum Hut, banish away the Chessy. Now the Splash Mage is also, you're locked into Cyberse monsters for the rest of this turn, thus Apollo USA could not be summoned. Let's Ash negate the Magnum Hut, which is quite an interesting play. Normally you do that in a more so simplified game state in a resource fight back and forth. We're going to Lancia. Not in the draw phase. We are waiting for the main phase activation of the White Rabbit to set a card from the deck, and it works out. Sure, no more banishing for the rest of this turn. To battle, we go 6,700 damage on the field. We're going to GWC on the attack of the White Rabbit. Red Ransom, for some reason, activates on Special Summon, not on Link Summon. They forgot to restrict that. Let's main phase 2 into the Dark. Dark, really good for the mirror match. Take control of the monster. Well, if your Red Ransom activates on Special Summon, if I steal it, it should activate on my Special Summon, which it does, searching for a Maliss and Underground. As we further link this up into a Hearts Cryptor. Cryptor is going to be triggering the effect of Link Decoder Reborn itself back on the field. Nibiru is going to be tributing off the entire field. We have no banished Maliss cards to even activate the Cryptor with. You cannot use the Maliss and Mirror unless we have a Maliss monster in hand or on the field, and we do have the GWC to ensure that we get that Maliss monster on the field. So right away to ensure, off the top of the deck, Impulse, negate the GWC, which turns on the Maliss and Mirror, which turns on the Cryptor. So we have no Cryptor, no Mirror. That one GWC stopped by the top decked Impulse, winning the entire duel. March Hare, chain the Maxi to the March Hare Special Summon here. We're going to summon our own March Hare by banishing our White Rabbit to then summon onto the field, send to the back row an MTP. During the end phase, we're going to MTP, banish the March Hare to add it back to the hand, search on our deck for a Dormouse, and Justinian, I'm sorry. That sucks. And because Full Loss is actually more so a lot more balanced than Maxi, it's dead. It can't do anything unless we have nothing on the field, which if we activate the Maliss and Mirror to banish away our March Hare on field and add back the March Hare, there will be nothing on the field to then activate the Full Loss, which I think you deserve to now use the Full Loss because you don't have crazy disruption on the field. This is much more balanced. This is okay. And then DDB has the option to play through it. There is an impermanence, so we definitely planned on this open field play. Had we set the Imperm, then the Full Loss would have not been activatable. We're going to Imperm, negate the Chessy Cat, no draw 2 for you. There's nothing banished right now, but if we're able to get something banished and we activated the effect of the Dormouse, which got negated, a single Cryptor is not enough for lethal. Where Cryptor would be able to attack, banish itself, and come back, it will be slightly off because the Dormouse boost is not in play. Now, Cryptor with some other bodies is another story. We don't have any other monster banished, no Maliss card banished, that is. And by activating the March Hare, that probably signifies that we wanted to enter the battle phase. Do we have enough for game? Take out the Chessie, take out the March Hare, 300 damage, 25, banish, reborn, GWC, whatever we summon, attack, then we attack for 5k. Lethal damage. Yeah. So without any help, Cryptor is 7,500. So the Link Decoder plus Cryptor would be still off from lethal, but the GWC monster that we summon being able to attack, that is what gives us game. A Master Rule could maybe increase the life points. I don't know. We'd have to see what that would do to the entire game. We're going to banish the Dormouse. Now, we have non-target banish, return a monster back to the hand from the hand, field, or grave. We have impulse, negate a special summon. And that's about our 4 disruptions we have. MTP is going to be banishing away our Dormouse to search our deck. When do we banish, return, or impulse negate? Let's activate the Dormouse. We did not impulse it. We're going to crypt or non-target banish it since it was already banished this turn. Now, let's GWC. Call by the Grave, fingering the White Rabbit. March Hare is going to banish the White Rabbit. Ghost Bell is going to stop you from banishing the White Rabbit. Now, what does White Rabbit do? It gives us one of our disruptions to non-target banish a card in the field through the effect of MTP. So with that no longer being a play, we lose that disruption. We could have Firewall Dragoned to return the White Rabbit back to our hand to ensure that it would not get banished by the Call of the Grave. And then you could focus on banishing the Red Ransom if you had another way to do so, but then the Red Ransom could only banish from the deck, and we have our 2 other White Rabbits in our hand. Red Ransom come back. Chessie. So this is where the Red Ransom would be able to banish a White Rabbit from the deck. Had we Firewall Dragoned it back to the hand, but both are in the hand as we said. Let's add back the March Hare. We still have Impulse. We still have Firewall Dragon. Return a monster from the field or grave back to the hand, including our own field or grave. Let's activate the Mouse and Underground, triggering the Chessie Cat to try to come back. For our last resort play, we're going to Impulse, negate. And with what we have left is a Firewall Dragon, still unused, and we win. Hold the Firewall. Interesting play with the Ghost Spell plus the Call of the Grave. Almost worked out. Said 2 pass. You what, mate? Maxi, in response to the normal summon of the Dormouse, we're going to Dormouse, banish the deck our March Hare. March Hare, add back to the hand here. You have the pressure of, do we perform lethal damage? And Yusuf says, what are you talking about? I have no pressure. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to set 2 pass. Back to you. Mouse and Underground off the top of the deck. We are waiting on when we should use the Imperm. Now, with the Mouse and Mirror, we could dodge the Impermanence. So you have to think that there's this mindset in Yu-Gi-Oh! Of knowing when to use your card at the last moment possible. It's a skill. It's a good skill to understand the last possible moment. But by doing that, you sometimes outbrain yourself. And you outbrain yourself by, what if they have a way to dodge your Impermanence? You then don't want to use Imperm at the last possible moment. You want to Imperm before the step right before the last moment, because if you were to negate the Dormouse before it activated, how do you dodge Imperm? You lose the Dormouse effect from this game. You cannot Mouse and Mirror chain to it after it activates, it's already negated. Now we could chain the Mouse and Mirror. But in this instance here, because the Mouse and Mirror does not banish by cost, it banishes by effect. So if we have another Veiler, another Impermanence, due to it still being on the field, we could chain the other one, which we're not doing. We're waiting. Save the Imperm for whatever you summon from the deck. This is going to force him to expend the White Rabbit effect when banished to come forth. We're still going to hold the Impermanence as we set an MTP. Normal in Ash Blossom into an Almirage. What is the reason for Almirage? Splash Mage, that's it. This is why you play this card. Turn a hand trap into a Splash Mage play. Splash Mage it up, activates a Reborn. Negate the Splash Mage. MTP can't search. We have to have a Maliss on the field to banish on the turn it's set to search our deck. Well, we just lost our ability to get access to that Maliss. We have Bell. We have Impermanence. Now, Bell versus the field spell is really interesting. The Underground has the ability to banish from a graveyard. If you Bell, negate it, they could activate another Underground, even though it says you can only activate one per turn, because the Bell negates the activation, where an Ash would negate the effect if it were even Ashable, which it isn't. Let's summon a Dormouse. Imperm, negate the Dormouse. So you may be thinking, does that work like March Hare? March Hare, you could only use this effect once per turn, even though we negate the activation of banishing from the graveyard. So you would think we could activate another one. You used the effect, and if you could only use the effect once, and even if the activation's negated, you still used it. Decoder Pass? Holy shite. What the? We couldn't get rid of Splash Mage? Reborn back in the field of White Rabbit, which the monster is negated off of whatever you summon, so be careful with that. We're going to MTP, grab a March Hare here. Lingaribo can still negate in Imperm or Impulse in hand. Imperm obviously not activatable right now. They would have said it if they had it, but Impulse could be in their hand. We're going to set up the GWC. And also, the March Hare could banish a White Rabbit, which could summon, then set a trap, which the Lingaribo can negate. The Cryptor attacking, we have Lingaribo for the direct 5,000 life points left. As the Cryptor comes back out, March Hare is not activatable in the battle phase. So, okay, that's it. No surprise, March Hare on the lethal attack here. We have to, as soon as they're attempting to end the main phase, that would be our last possible moment to even activate it. Let's go into game 3. Gold Sark banish from the deck, as we have the Dormouse here. Fua Loss is going to be responding to the Dormouse coming out. We're going to use Ash Blossom to negate, even though we're not drawing off of this summon mate. And I do want to give a small little note. A little optimization here is you could chain link block the White Binder if you chain the GWC to its effect to banish to ensure that they can't Ash the White Binder trying to come back, even though they already used Ash, but it could possibly be a good practice to do. We have the White Binder, reset the GWC, set these to the graveyard for a Firewall Dragon. As we set the Crossout Designate, we have a non-target banish, return a monster back, Apollo negate. Great duel, mate. Let's hop into another one. Haley 2 new season? Yeah, I do want to try that out. But what I'm turned off about that is they didn't really change the end game, which they admit themselves that they didn't have enough time to really mess with the end game that much. So that's a bit of a letdown. Let's set 2 pass. What do we have here? We have non-target banish plus a non-target banish plus a monster negate plus negate a special summon. 4 forms of disruption. Send the aggregator for an X Ryzeal. We're going to chain link block the X Ryzeal as the aggregator negates the Cryptor. Now, right now the Cryptor is going to be activatable, but it will be negated unless we summon a monster to where it's pointing to, and then it will go through the negate and still banish. So this is, the Cryptor's not gone. It's still our 4th form of disruption. And now it's back. It's activatable as long as we have a banished Maliss card, which we don't. Sword Ryzeal, searching for the ice. Let's turn these 2 bodies into a Ryzeal Detonator. Ryzeal Detonator on someone's going to attach the aggregator. Let's Ryzeal Cross into the triple tactics talent. Take control of a monster. I'm going to steal that Cryptor. And with the Cryptor now stolen, should I maybe now take the disruption off? We lose the Impulse, we lost the Cryptor. We're going to use the Detonator to pop the Maliss and Mirror. Maliss and Mirror, we're not going to even chain here. Victinium. Are we good? We're getting blown out, aren't we? Is this over for us or what? What the heck? We don't have any plays. We don't have March Hare, we don't have a Bestial. We just have to survive, and we do. So that's okay. If Victinium can see that surviving is the way to get through this, we're good. Back to our field. Cryptor is here. We still don't have a banished card. We're gonna Plasma Hole, get rid of the Cryptor. As we now attempt to Dormouse, we're gonna use the Veiler preemptively. We're not going to be waiting, ending the turn. We activate the Underground, it would just get popped by the Detonator. Off the top of the deck, we have our Ash Blossom. Say goodbye to the Dormouse. We don't have any other real good additional plays. We do have Resilience against an Impermanence. If they try to Imperm the Detonator, we can pop ourselves and Reborn it back with a plugin. We're going to negate the March Hare. And we still have a material for the Mouse and Underground here. Detach the Aggregator, wipe it out. It's a big problem. March Hare is no play. We're going to, within the main phase, chain Maxi. You're giving Victinium a chance, and then you're taking away that chance by using Ash Blossom to negate the Maxi. Negate. Now what do we have here? Reborn back, the Ryzeal attached from the deck, a sword. Ryzeal searching for a follow-up. We did this for fear of the Detonator not having a material on the activation of something that we wanted to pop right away. So we preempted the plugin. Let's hop into game number 2. Begin. Pirellia in the draw phase. Pirellia really good in the mirror match if you're playing against Ryzeal. As a Ryzeal player, Pirellia also gives you a little boost to hand trap resilience. You summon a card, it gets negated on the search, and if it's your only one card combo, you can now normal summon your Pirellia or your Fuelos to play from there. Let's Dormouse come forth onto the field, banish from the deck a Chessie. We're under double Mulch Army, Pirellia and Fuelos. Summon from the hand, deck, or extra results in a draw. MTP with no link monster, thus no non-target banish. So what do we really do off of this? We just have to survive. Well, you double Mulch Armied me, so I Maxi you. Only fair. As the sword searches for an Ryzeal. Exciton Knight. If your opponent controls more cards and in their hand in total than you have, you get to non-target destroy the entire field. MTB gonna chain search in response to the Exciton Knight. Crossout Designate is going to negate Call by the Grave. No Call by the Grave, also thin out our deck a little bit. Search our deck. Wipe the field. Now we deal no damage for the rest of the turn. We drew into an Ash, which now can't get fingered. Smart from Victinium, protecting his Ash. We're gonna chain the plugin to Reborn. We are under the effect of Maxi. Matru, are you good? I don't think you're in a good spot. Let's activate the Ryzeal Cross. March Hare is going to be banishing here. There's no pressure to build up a board presence in response to their field right now because they deal no damage. The Exciton Knight is completely, it's got a little life point icon here, life point shield. I guess that means no life point damage. Sure, no damage. Further going into the Ryzeal Detonator. So if it's blue and says LP, that means the blue player can't take life point damage, right? I guess that's what that means. You would think it would be red because it's the red player's Exciton. Now, we have the ability to pop, triple pop. One of them can be a negate with the cross mate. Mouse and Mirror is going to negate. Now from 3 disruption, we just have 1. The ability to negate a monster. We're gonna set up a GWC with the White Rabbit. Dormouse is gonna link this off into a link decoder. Let's link all 3 into the White Binder. Let's White Binder, trigger, as we use the link decoder on the higher chain. We're gonna Druid Swarm, send away the Detonator. We don't even bother negating because, I don't know, this duel's over, yes? Let's speed this up. Reborn back the Dormouse, summon the Chessie Cat, banish, draw 2. Let's March Hare, add back to the hand here. Further link this up into a Cryptor. Dormouse, but boost up the field by plus 600. Access code Talker. Target the Cryptor, but boost 5300. Non-target pop. Take away the Ryzeal Cross. Come back onto the field Cryptor. And just like that, over 10,000 damage. We still have this effect, mate. What the? This will destroy only within the battle phase during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Don't tell me we forgot. Whoops. Bro, I was trying to not BM you. I just wanted to go to the battle phase and win. And why you wipe my field? And let's Pirellia. Sure. Whoops. Main phase 2. Extending the duel now. We get to draw off that Pirellia. Binder is back. We draw an additional card. Set a GWC onto the field. Let's further link this up into the Apollo and end. Yeah, it was a mistake to not deal with the Exton Knight. I believe so, definitely, but we didn't have to really care. We knew that even with that, we were definitely going to win the duel. Non-issue whatsoever. Let's hop into game 3. X Ryzeal, Imperm, negate the X Ryzeal as we have a duo drive in graveyard. Speed this up. And the turn. And the turn. If the Lancia were a Pirellia, a Fulos, we would normal summon it, we'd make a duo drive, we'd make plays from there. Well, Lancia's instead a Lancia, which is really good against Maliss. Unless they finger your Lancia, ain't no way. And I believe Matru is already on 3 Pirellia, 3 Fulos, which I guess we just got unlucky by not drawing any of those cards to help play through an Imperm on X Ryzeal. Dormouse with an empty. Damn. Imperm on X Ryzeal. No other level 4 to help play through the impermanence was enough to win the duel. And of course, fingering the Lancia for game. Good job, Fictinium. Not a great hand. We know that normal summon Sword Ryzeal is susceptible to pretty much any and all hand traps, and it doesn't even give us the ability to normal summon a Mulcharmy afterward. So instead of normal summoning into a likely hand trap and then turning off almost half of our freaking hand, we would want to instead just pass. We have Pirellia and Fulos. Let's just wait, and hopefully that's enough. Backed up by our 2 other forms of disruption, Imperm and Ash. I think you made the right choice. This is the right choice. Yep, I think so. Especially looking at the hand, Imperm onto it would have then turned off the Fua and the Pirellia. Let's Ash in response to the Allure of Darkness. No draw 2 for you, plus getting an extra body on the field. Let's triple Tactics Talent, chain the Fua loss before they rip it out of our hand. And unfortunately, we're now meeting the downside of keeping Imperm in our hand. But if we had set it on the field, we would have not been able to use. Whoa, we're not returning back the Imperm. We don't care. Let's get that Sword Ryzeal out of here. Banish the Chessie. 4J does not care about impermanence. I let you keep that Imperm. And I'm also under the effect of Fulos and Pirellia. 4J, you are crazy. Well, that's because I'm going to make a minimal play and just hope he doesn't top deck into what? As we said earlier, the deck has about 12 one-card starters, but one of those one-card starters is the 7 Tachyon. Without another card, the 7 Tachyon is no longer a one-card combo. It's like a 1.5 card combo. What the? Cross out designate? You up, mate? Begin. We have negate a monster, pop, 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 and Nibiru. 7 disruption plus Lancia. Call by the grave, finger the Lancia. So the Plasma Hole is 2 plus 3 plus 1 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As we activate the White Rabbit, we're going to negate the White Rabbit with 6 other forms of disruption. Let's scoop it up. Lancia Sen, Call by the Grave, finger the Lancia Pirellia chain to the Call by the Grave. We're going to be drawn per summon from the hand, which will be our normal summon plus possibly a March Hare. What is good here? And you all could think of any other popular game you play for some ideas on how Konami can help improve their sales without being forced to power creep. And my suggestion was a KO screen. When you're killing your opponent, it just flashes with some screen. It can maybe be a Dark Magician Girl, Dark Magic Blasting. Not that you have to play Dark Magician Girl, just custom finisher animations like Teamfight Tactics. I think in Call of Duty, they added bongs to the game if you want to further monetize with that. We are sending Aggregator for the Ryzeal. Let's Aggregator negate the Chessie. Let's further search. Come to us, Sword. Special the Sword. We have not committed to that normal summon yet. We're going to grab an Ice Ryzeal. Normal the Ice, summon from the deck. Is this a GG? Yeah, we don't have anything. This is it. Ryzeal, detonate, attach the Aggregator, mate into the Duo Drive we go. Duo Drive detach, searching for the node and the plugin. Let's node Ryzeal, send Reborn into the Granite. Granite, detach, searching for the Nibiru. Let's cross, return 2 engrave, draw 1. Let's Utopic Ray Lancer is going to be reducing the opposing field of monsters by 500 and give us a double attack. Attack 1, attack 2, and just like that, lethal damage. Nicely done. YouTube, this is the end of the top 16. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate you. We're gonna be hopping into the top 8, grand finale, and top deck list. I know a lot of you are immensely fatigued from the meta, but soon, maybe by October, the meta's gonna be a lot better. Maybe Konami could go crazy within September. Maybe they could push the big red button. Yes, let's go.